And Ian, Paddy, you need to go to the party this year. I'm coming over shortly. Okay, so I'll pass you on to Robert.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's now for the time for the part of the night that I've been dreading, but I'm sure not as much as Brian. I must admit, I'm not used to speaking, as there's a woman in my life. But it's okay, I'm told it's tradition for the best man's speech to last as long as the groom makes love to the bride. So, I'll see you. Firstly, I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be Brian's best man today. And after working with him for 10 years, I'm delighted to see that he's finally admitted that I am the best man. So thanks, Brian. Now, I was a bit of a loss as what to say in this speech, so I went onto the internet and I found some really good stuff. Then I remembered I was meant to be looking for best man speeches. Now, this is usually the time for embarrassing the groom, but Brian said if I do a good job tonight, then I can be best man at his next wedding. So don't worry, Brian, I won't mention any of the really bad stuff. I won't mention the time you put £250 worth of fuel in a bus. £250 worth of petrol in a coach, sorry, that runs on diesel and always has. Or the time Brian got arrested after a fight in Whitehaven one night, which resulted in a date with Mrs. Bell, head of transport. And last but not least, I probably shouldn't mention the time he was particularly upset after we had to leave a well-known gay bar in Seascale due to the managers having a lover's tiff. When we returned to my flat, we went on to drown our sorrows in red wine, and I ended up putting him to bed. Needless to say, after that episode, when I heard he was dating someone called Phil, I was relieved to hear that it was a woman. On a serious note, I'd just like to say how beautiful Phil is looking tonight, and from what I've heard, she's the kind of woman who deserves a smart, caring and good-looking husband. So Brian, thank God you married her before she found one. Now, before we carry on with the celebrations, I'd just like to ask Phil and Brian to tell, well, I can't do this, where? You'll have to pretend we're sitting down. Please. I'd just like Phil and Brian to take part in this part of the speech for me. Phil, if you'd like to put your hand on the table, I'll have to do it. And Brian, place your hand on top. My friend, this is the last time you'll have the upper hand again. Let's make a toast. To my best friend and his beautiful wife, Mr. and Mrs. Hall.